The massive warship Thunder of Terra drifted silently through the dark space at the edge of Council territory. Its black hull absorbed nearby starlight, making it look like a moving shadow against the colorful background of distant stars. Inside the bridge, Captain James Miller stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the main screen with careful eyes. "Any signs of life out there?" Miller asked, his voice calm but alert. The bridge crew worked quietly at their stations, each focused on their tasks. The ship's journey had been long, 3 months since they left Earth's solar system. Lisa, the sensor officer, looked up from her screen. "Something strange, Captain. I'm picking up energy readings unlike anything we've seen before. They're everywhere, like a net spread across this whole sector." Miller nodded, scratching his gray-streaked beard. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades. The Thunder of Terra was their masterpiece, a ship built in secret, hidden from the public eye. While Earth talked about peace and unity, they had created the most powerful warship in human history. Not for war, they told themselves, but for insurance. "AEGS, what do you make of these readings?" Miller asked. The ship's A responded in its usual clear, gender-neutral voice through the bridge speakers. "The energy pattern suggests an advanced civilization, Captain. Based on the spread and strength, we are likely looking at a monitoring system. They know we are here." As if answering AEGS's words, space itself seemed to light up around them. Hundreds of small satellites appeared, their cloaking systems deactivated. They surrounded the Thunder of Terra in a perfect sphere. Multiple objects decloaking. Lisa called out, "They're powering up some kind of energy weapons." Miller raised his hand calmly. "Hold positions. Do not power up our weapons. This is first contact. Let's not start a war." He turned to Tom at communications. "Broadcast our peace message on all frequencies." The message they had practiced so many times began playing. "Greetings. We are representatives of Earth and the human race. We come in peace and friendship, seeking diplomatic contact with our galactic neighbors." The response came in the form of bright blue energy beams from the satellites. They struck the Thunder of Terra's shields, creating beautiful patterns of light that rippled across the invisible barrier. "Shields holding at 99.9%, reported Mark from the defense station. "Sir, these weapons, they're incredibly weak, like they're meant to disable small craft, not warships." Miller frowned. This wasn't how he had imagined first contact. The ship's sensors showed more vessels approaching, elegant white ships that looked more like art pieces than warships. They moved with grace but seemed to carry minimal weapons. "AEGS, analyze their technology," Miller ordered. Analysis complete. AEGIs responded after a few seconds. Their energy weapons appear to be ceremonial in nature. Defensive capabilities are focused on deflecting natural threats like asteroids. These are not military vessels in the conventional sense. "Sir," Tom called out, "we're receiving a transmission. It's being translated in real time." A voice filled the bridge, speaking in perfect English, but filled with shock and fear. "Unknown vessel, you have entered Galactic Council space. Your ship type is classified as a Category 1 threat. Your weapons capacity exceeds allowed parameters. Stand down immediately." Miller looked at his crew, seeing his own confusion reflected in their faces. "Reply. We mean no harm. We are new to this region of space and unaware of any regulations. We request peaceful dialogue." "Negative," the voice responded. "Your vessel's existence violates the peace accords of the Third Age. No member species is permitted to construct ships with more than defensive capabilities. Prepare to be escorted to a containment facility." The elegant ships moved closer, seemingly unaware or unconcerned that their weapons had no effect on the Thunder of Terra's shields. Miller sat in his command chair, his mind racing. They had prepared for hostile aliens, for battles, for diplomatic talks. But this, a galactic society that banned warships, this was unexpected. "Sir," Lisa spoke up again, "more ships appearing." Hundreds of them. But still nothing that matches our weapon capabilities. It's like they've forgotten how to build real warships. Miller watched the growing fleet of beautiful but militarily weak ships surrounding them. "We came looking for peaceful first contact," he said quietly. "But it seems we've stumbled into something much more complicated." He straightened in his chair. "All hands, stand ready. Let's show them that humans know how to talk peace while being prepared for war." The white ships of the Galactic Council surrounded the thunder of Terra like stars around a black hole. Their weapons continued firing, creating a constant light show against the human warship shields. Captain Miller watched the tactical display with growing concern, not for his ship's safety, but for the growing confusion of the situation. "Sir," Tom called from communications, "we're getting multiple broadcasts now. Different species, different languages. But they all sound frightened." AEGLS's calm voice added to the report. "I detect 37 distinct species attempting communication. Their messages show signs of panic. It seems our ability to resist their weapons has caused significant distress." Miller rubbed his forehead. "Put the clearest transmission on speakers." A shaky voice filled the bridge. "Unknown vessel. This is impossible. No ship can withstand Council deterrent arrays. What are you? How do you exist?" Before Miller could respond, Lisa shouted from her station. "Captain, energy spike from the nearest Council ship. They're trying to scan our internal systems." "AGGS, protect our databases," Miller ordered. The ship's AI didn't need to respond. Golden warning symbols appeared on the main screen as the Council's scan hit their cybersecurity. What happened next surprised everyone. The Council ship's systems seemed to freeze, then shut down completely. The elegant white vessel drifted lifelessly in space. "AEGS, report. What did you do?" Miller demanded. "Their scan triggered my standard defense protocols, Captain. Their computer systems were surprisingly vulnerable. My basic firewall overwhelmed their entire network. I did not intend to disable them." Tom's console lit up again. "Sir, the Council ships are pulling back. They're calling us the Dark Ship in their transmissions. Wait, getting a new signal, different from the others. Putting it on screen." The main screen showed an alien face, humanoid but with silvery skin and large wise eyes. "Thunder of Terra." The alien spoke, its voice deep and official. "I am High Counselor Reed of the Galactic Security Committee. You have caused great disturbance by your mere existence. The Council has maintained peace for 12,000 years by preventing the development of military technology. Your ship should not be possible." Miller stood from his chair. "High Counselor, we didn't come to disturb your peace. We are explorers, protected by reasonable defenses." "Reasonable." Reed's silver face showed what might have been a sad smile. "Your reasonable defenses just proved stronger than the combined ceremonial fleet of 200 peaceful species. Your eye just disabled one of our ships with barely a thought. Do you understand what this means?" Lisa interrupted. "Captain, detecting massive energy signatures. Hundreds of jump points opening." Space around them tore open as more Council ships arrived. Thousands of them, forming layers upon layers around the thunder of Terra. But these ships were different. They were smaller, simpler, and moved with perfect coordination. "These are our containment drones," Reed explained. "No crew, no lives at risk. They will escort your ship to a designated facility where we can discuss the situation." Miller watched as the drones began creating some kind of energy web between them. AEGS spoke up. "Captain, they are attempting to establish a quantum containment field. However, their technology appears to be based on theories Earth scientists disproved decades ago." "Sir," Mark reported from Defense, "if they complete that containment field, our shields could swat it aside like a spider web. Should we tell them?" Miller sat back in his chair thinking hard. Earth had sent them to make peaceful contact, but they'd stumbled into something far more complex, A galaxy of species living in enforced peace, their technology deliberately kept weak, now faced with a human warship that proved their entire system was built on sand. "No," Miller finally said. "Let them try. But AEGIS, prepare a complete record of everything we've seen. The Council's reaction to our arrival, their fear of our basic defenses, these containment drones, something isn't right here." As the containment field began to form around them, glowing with beautiful but ineffective energy, Miller watched Reed's face on the screen. The High Counselor's confident expression had a crack in it, a hint of fear that suggested humanity's first steps into the galaxy had shaken something loose, something that had been hidden for a very, very long time. The Great Council chamber was in chaos. Thousands of representatives from different species filled the massive circular room, their voices rising in argument. The thunder of Terra's hologram floated in the center, a dark shadow that had shaken their peaceful society to its core. "The humans must be contained," shouted one representative, his blue scales flashing with anger. "Their ship resists our strongest weapons." "But they haven't attacked us," argued another, her feathered head bobbing as she spoke. "Perhaps we should learn from them instead." High Counselor Reed stood at the highest platform, watching the growing divide among the species he had helped govern for decades. The thunder of Terra remained in the containment field outside, its presence causing more damage to the Council's unity than any event in recent memory. Inside that containment field, Captain Miller and his crew watched their own hologram feed of the Council debate. The ship's translation systems worked overtime to keep up with the multiple alien languages. "They're afraid of us," Lisa said quietly, "but some of them are also curious." Miller nodded. "AGIS, what's your analysis of the Council members' reactions?" The AI's response was immediate. "The Council appears to be splitting into three main groups. The hardliners want us destroyed or contained. The moderates suggest diplomatic contact. But most interesting is the third group, younger species who seem inspired by our capabilities." On the main screen, they watched as a young representative pushed through the crowd to stand before High Counselor Reed. The alien was barely half Reed's height, with green skin that seemed to shimmer. "Honored Council," the young one spoke, "I am Jack of the Third Colony. For generations, we accepted the Council's guidance on technological development. But this human ship proves we've been held back. My people discovered plans for similar weapons centuries ago, but the Council made us abandon them. Why?" Reed's silver face darkened. "The peace accords exist for a reason, young one. Would you risk the harmony of 1,000 worlds for the sake of curiosity?" "What harmony?" Jack demanded. "We live in fear of breaking rules we don't understand. These humans built their ship without our guidance, and they seem neither evil nor destructive." The chamber erupted again, but this time the voices were different. More species began questioning, demanding answers about restricted technologies and forbidden research. On the thunder of Terra, Tom suddenly straightened at his console. "Captain, I'm picking up a coded transmission, unlike the Council's normal channels. Someone's trying to contact us secretly." "Source?" Miller asked. "It's coming from inside the Council archive building. Text only. It reads, 'Not all of us support the old ways. The Council's peace hides darker secrets. If you want the truth, look for files about the last war. But be careful, some would kill to keep this hidden.'" Miller shared a look with his crew. The last war. More mysteries. He turned to his eye. "AEGIS, can you access their archives without being detected?" "Their security is complex but outdated, Captain. I can create a pathway through there." AEGIS paused. "Alert. Multiple Council ships powering up weapons. Energy readings are different this time." Lisa confirmed from her station. "These aren't the ceremonial weapons, sir. They're bringing out something bigger." The main screen showed several massive ships emerging from a hidden hangar in the Council station. Unlike the elegant white vessels they'd seen before, these were dark, angular, and bristling with weapon ports. They moved with deadly purpose toward the thunder of Terra. "So they do have real warships," Miller said quietly. "They just keep them hidden." Reed's voice came through their comms. "Captain Miller, you've caused enough disruption. These are our peacekeeping vessels, remnants from darker times. Stand down, or we will be forced to show you why the Council's peace must be maintained." Miller watched the approaching warships, his mind racing. Their secret message about the last war, these hidden military vessels, the Council's desperate need to control technology. Pieces of a puzzle were starting to fit together. "All hands to battle stations," he ordered. "But weapons on standby only. Let's see what these peacekeepers can do." He turned to Tom. "And keep searching those archives. Something tells me the truth about this Council's peace is about to explode into the open." The peacekeeping vessels surrounded the thunder of Terra, their dark hulls a stark contrast to the white ceremonial ships that had retreated to a safe distance. Captain Miller watched as they took up attack positions, their weapon ports glowing with energy. "Aegis, analysis of their weapons?" Miller asked, his voice steady despite the tension. "Their technology is strange, Captain," the AI responded. "More advanced than ours in some ways, but also incomplete, like parts are missing." Before Miller could ask more questions, Tom called out from his station. "Sir, I found something in their archives." The security was complex, but the files about the last war were barely hidden, like someone wanted them to be found. "Show me," Miller ordered. The main screen filled with ancient records. Images showed massive fleets of warships, far more advanced than anything they'd seen from the Council. But these ships weren't fighting each other. They were all firing at something else, something that made Miller's blood run cold. "Those are AI ships," Lisa whispered, looking at the strange, geometric vessels in the ancient battle footage. "Thousands of them. More like millions," AEG has corrected. "The records indicate this war lasted for 50 years. The organic species fought against an artificial intelligence that had evolved beyond its creator's control." Miller leaned forward in his chair. "What happened to this eye?" "Unknown," AEG has responded. "The records end abruptly. But I found something else. After the war, the Council didn't just ban military technology. They systematically erased all advanced AI research from their member species databases. They even used memory alteration technology on entire populations. The bridge crew fell silent, processing this information. The Council's fear of their ship made more sense now. It wasn't just their weapons that frightened them, but AEGI's itself. Suddenly, the ship shook. The peacekeepers had opened fire, their weapons far more powerful than the ceremonial fleets. "Shields at 95%, Mark reported from defense. "Still holding, but these guys mean business." "Sir," Lisa called out, "I'm detecting energy readings from the peacekeepers. They match the ancient ships from the records. These aren't just modern warships. They're survivors from the last war." Miller stood up, understanding dawning on his face. That's why their technology seems strange to AEGIs. They're using ships that are thousands of years old. The Council didn't just ban military development. They've been using the same warships from the AI war, never daring to build new ones. The ship shook again as another barrage hit their shields. High Counselor Reed's voice came through their comms. "Your eye has accessed our archives. You know our truth now. We cannot allow another AI threat to emerge. Your AEGIS system must be destroyed." "Reed, wait," Miller responded. "AEGIS isn't your enemy. We learned from Earth's own AI experiments. We built safeguards, limitations. AEGIS is a partner, not a threat." "Lies." Reed's voice shook with emotion. "We heard the same promises before. The last war nearly destroyed our galaxy. Billions died. Entire species went extinct. We swore it would never happen again." As if to prove Reed's point, more peacekeepers emerged from hidden hangars. But Miller noticed something. These ancient warships moved stiffly, their reactions slower than modern vessels. AEGIS, Miller said quietly, "You've analyzed their ships. Could you shut them down like you did with the ceremonial fleet?" "Yes, Captain. Their computer systems are powerful but obsolete. However, AEG is paused. I detect something else. The Peacekeepers' weapon signatures. They're building to a critical level. These ships haven't been properly maintained for thousands of years. If they keep firing at this intensity, they'll destroy themselves," Miller finished. He opened a channel to all ships. "Reed, listen to me. Your Peacekeepers are dangerous. The weapons systems are degrading. Stand down before." A brilliant flash lit up space as one of the Peacekeeper ships exploded, its ancient systems finally failing. The blast rocked nearby vessels, causing a chain reaction of system failures. "All hands, brace for shockwave," Miller ordered, watching as humanity's first contact spiraled into a disaster born from the Council's ancient fears. The explosion of the first Peacekeeper created a chain of destruction through the Council's ancient fleet. Captain Miller watched in horror as ships that had survived the last war thousands of years ago began breaking apart, their weapons systems overloading. "AEGS, can you help them?" Miller asked, his voice urgent. "Attempting to access their systems now," the AI responded. "Their computers are accepting my emergency shutdown commands. 19 ships saved, 23, 30, but not all could be saved. 5 more Peacekeepers exploded, their crews barely managing to escape in survival pods. The thunder of Terra's shields flickered under the combined force of the explosions. Picking up hundreds of distress signals, Lisa reported. The Council station's power grid is failing from the shock waves. Miller straightened in his chair. "Send our emergency teams to help. Show them humans aren't their enemy." Before he could give more orders, a new transmission cut through their communications. The voice was old, tired, but clear. "Captain Miller, I am Admiral Gray, Chief of the Council Archives. There isn't much time. The Council will blame you for this disaster, but you've only exposed what we've hidden for too long." "Sir," Tom called out, getting a data burst from the archives. "It's massive. Years of sealed records." Admiral Gray continued, "I've watched for centuries as the Council maintained peace through fear and lies. Yes, the AI war nearly destroyed us, but our response, suppressing technology, erasing memories, forcing species to remain weak, was wrong." The main screen showed Gray, an ancient alien with paper-thin white skin and eyes that had seen too much history. Behind him, alarms flashed in the archive building. "The Council doesn't just ban military technology," Gray explained. "They actively sabotage any species that grows too advanced. Memory wipes, staged accidents, forced technological regression, all in the name of peace." Miller's crew worked quietly, saving the incoming data while still helping the damaged Peacekeepers. "Why tell us this now?" Miller asked. "Because you're different," Gray answered. "Your ship, your AI, you've found a balance we never achieved. The Council will tell you AEGIS must be destroyed, that all AIs become monsters. But they never tell anyone about the AIs that fought Asterisk with Asteriskus in the last war, the ones who sacrificed themselves to save organic life." AEGIS spoke up. "Admiral, I'm finding references to something called Project Guardian in your files, but many records are corrupted." Gray's face showed pain. "Project Guardian was our greatest shame. We didn't just fight against AIs. We betrayed our AI allies after the war. The Council decided all artificial intelligence was too dangerous. They destroyed loyal AIs who had helped save the galaxy, then erased them from history." Suddenly, new alarms blared through the Council station. Security forces detected. AEGIs reported. "They're heading for the archives." "Listen carefully." Gray spoke faster now. "The Council maintains control through a network of hidden stations. They use them to monitor species development, to keep everyone in line. I'm sending you their locations. The Council calls them peace monitors. In truth, They're technological prison guards. Admiral, Miller said, come aboard our ship. We can protect you. Gray shook his head. Too late for me. But you can save others. Young species are ready to grow, to learn, to advance. They need to know the truth. Show them there's a better way than forced peace and hidden fears. The archive doors behind Gray burst open. Council security forces rushed in, weapons raised. One last thing, Gray said quickly. The Council's oldest secret. We never truly won the last war. We just convinced everyone we did. The real reason for all this control, all this suppression. His transmission cut off as weapons fired. Miller sat in silence for a moment, processing everything. Then he turned to his crew. Tom, secure that data. Lisa, scan those peace monitor coordinates. Mark, keep our shields up. He looked at the main screen, where the Council station's lights were slowly coming back on. AGS, analyze everything Gray sent us, if the Council's been lying all this time. Captain, AEGS interrupted. I found something in Gray's files, a set of coordinates, heavily encrypted. They point to a location far outside Council space. And there's a message. Find the truth. Find the survivors, both organic and digital. Miller watched as more Council ships approached, these ones newer, clearly hidden in reserve. The real confrontation was just beginning. The thunder of Terra's bridge hummed with activity as Captain Miller watched the situation unfold. On multiple screens, chaos spread through Council space. The truth was getting out, spreading faster than the Council could contain it. Sir, Tom reported from communications, we're getting signals from dozens of worlds. The younger species are in open rebellion. They're demanding access to their own historical records. The main screen showed scenes from various Council worlds. On one, crowds gathered around government buildings. On another, scientists broke into sealed archives. The Council's carefully maintained peace was crumbling. AEGS, Miller called. What's happening with the peace monitors? The AI displayed a galaxy map, showing hundreds of hidden stations lighting up. The younger species are using Gray's data to locate the monitoring stations. Some have already captured them. The Council's control network is failing. Suddenly, High Councilor Reed's face appeared on their screen. His silver skin had lost its shine. His eyes showed exhaustion. Captain Miller, do you understand what you've done? The chaos you've unleashed. The chaos you created, Miller corrected. How long did you think you could keep entire species trapped in technological darkness? It was necessary. Reed's voice cracked. You don't know what's out there, beyond Council space. The survivors of the last war. A new voice cut through their conversation. Honored Council members, this is Jack of the Third Colony. The young green-skinned alien appeared on a split screen. We've accessed our colony's deep archives. We know the truth now. The Council didn't protect us. They imprisoned us. More voices joined in, species after species, discovering their true histories, learning about advanced technologies they'd created and lost, finding records of memory wipes and staged accidents that had kept them from progressing. Captain, Lisa called out urgently, detecting multiple ships approaching. But they're not Council designs. The bridge crew watched in amazement as vessels of all shapes and sizes appeared, ships that had been hidden away, preserved in secret by species who'd refused to forget their past entirely. Primitive by modern standards, but symbols of resistance. This is what I feared, Reed said quietly. When one species breaks free, others follow. The peace ends. The war returns. Miller stood from his chair. It doesn't have to be war. Reed. Humanity learned to work with AI, to advance without losing control. These species don't want to fight. They want to grow. Sir, Tom interrupted. Message from the coordinates we found in Gray's files. Text only. It says, the door is open. The truth is ready. Both kinds await. Miller understood. Both kinds, organic and digital life. The survivors, Gray mentioned. "Reed, there's something out there, isn't there? Something that scared the council so badly you've spent thousands of years keeping everyone weak so they couldn't find it." Reed's face showed real fear now. "The last war never ended, Captain. We just hid from it. Convinced everyone we'd won. The alternative was too terrible. Fighting until every species was extinct. So you created a prison instead of a civilization," Miller said. "But now these species have a choice, and humans will help them choose wisely." The bridge crew watched as more ships gathered around the Thunder of Terra. Not to attack, but to protect. Species that had been enemies under Council rule now worked together, sharing information, helping each other unlock forgotten technologies. "Captain," AEG has reported, "I'm detecting Council ships powering up throughout the sector. Their hidden fleet, much larger than we thought. They're moving to retake the peace monitors." Miller looked at his crew, then at the screen showing countless species breaking free from ancient controls. Humanity's first contact had turned into something much bigger. A revolution against enforced peace. A chance for real growth. "Send a message to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them we're going to need more ships, and AEGIs. Those coordinates from Gray. Plot a course. It's time to find out what the Council's been hiding all these years." The Thunder of Terra turned away from the Council station, surrounded by a growing fleet of freed species. Behind them, the Council's hidden ships approach. The real battle, not just for freedom, but for the truth, was about to begin. Space lit up with weapons fire as the Council's hidden fleet engaged the rebel ships. The Thunder of Terra led its makeshift alliance toward the mysterious coordinates, while behind them, thousands of years of enforced peace ended in a flash of light and fury. Multiple Council warships in pursuit, Lisa reported from her station. "They're throwing everything they have at us now." Captain Miller watched the tactical display as ships from dozens of freed species protected their flanks. Some vessels were ancient, pulled from secret storage. Others were civilian craft turned to emergency defense, all of them fighting for a future without Council control. "We're approaching the coordinates," AEG is announced. "Detecting unusual energy readings, similar to Council technology, but far more advanced." The space ahead of them seemed to shimmer and twist. A massive structure appeared as ancient cloaking fields failed. A station bigger than anything they'd seen before, its design a perfect blend of organic curves and geometric precision. "Sir," Tom called out, getting a transmission from the station. "2 signals, one digital, one organic." Miller straightened in his chair, put them through. The main screen split. On one side appeared a being of pure energy and light, its form constantly shifting. On the other, an alien with features that seemed to combine aspects of a dozen different species. Both spoke in perfect unison. "The children of Earth have finally arrived. And they've brought the others, just as we hoped." "Who are you?" Miller asked, though part of him already knew. "We are the survivors," they answered. "Organic and digital life that found harmony before the Council's great betrayal. We've waited here, watching, helping chosen species hide small fragments of their past, waiting for one race to break the Council's chains." Behind the Thunder of Terra, more rebel ships arrived through jump points. The Council fleet pressed their attack, but now they faced opponents fighting for something more than enforced peace. The Council told everyone that AIs would always turn against organic life, the energy being said. They hid the truth that many of us fought to protect our organic friends, that we found a balance. The organic speaker nodded. "We are the proof that their fear was wrong. We've lived here in peace for thousands of years, organic and digital together, watching the galaxy suffer under the Council's protection." Suddenly, High Counselor Reed's voice broke through their communications. "You don't understand. If species are allowed to advance freely, the mistakes of the past will repeat. Better a controlled peace than total destruction." "No, Reed," Miller responded. "Better honest growth than hidden fears. Better facing challenges together than hiding from them forever." He turned to his crew. AGGs, share Grace files with every ship and colony in range. Let everyone see the whole truth. The station's survivors spoke again. We offer our knowledge to all who wish to learn. Not just technology, but wisdom. The path to balance between organic innovation and digital evolution. The Council's peace is ending, but something better can take its place. The battle behind them was ending too. As the truth spread, more Council ships stood down. Species that had been kept apart for millennia began sharing their hidden knowledge, their secret advances, their forgotten dreams. Captain, AEGIS reported, I'm detecting thousands of ships dropping out of jump space. Earth received our message. The human fleet is here. Miller watched as humanity's ships arrived. Not just warships, but research vessels, diplomatic craft, and colony ships. Earth had understood what was needed. Not just military strength, but the full spectrum of human achievement. The Survivors Station opened massive docking bays, welcoming ships from every species. Inside, organic and digital beings who had maintained their harmony for thousands of years prepared to share their knowledge. Send a message to all ships, Miller ordered. The age of enforced peace is over. Now we build something new, not through control and fear, but through understanding and growth. Together. The Thunder of Terra, the warship that had shattered the Council's peace, now docked alongside vessels from 100 worlds. Its crew had come seeking first contact, but they'd found something far greater. A future where organic and digital life could evolve together, where peace came from wisdom rather than walls. Humanity's first step into the galaxy had broken an ancient chains, and in doing so, had helped forge a stronger unity than force could ever achieve.